Hey guys, Flip here, and today I'm here to be on everyone's hit list again by ranking every character in Genshin from worst to best at C6. I assure you, I'm not masochist, and as all YouTubers do, to take away all responsibility from me, this is my opinion, so if you argue with me or say I'm wrong, you're the asshole. So, let's get into the video. Fuck. I really didn't want Amber to be this low, but she's just bad. Her kit is dysfunctional, her scaling sucks, she doesn't get that much value at higher cons, but at least her hentai and NSFWR is good. But in her defense, at C0, I do rank her above Lisa. Barbara is just another overall bad unit, and similar to Amber, she doesn't get much better with cons either. As a healer, she gets out-healed by Bennett and every other dedicated healer in the game, and she can't even provide energy for the rest of the team with the elemental skill. She also does that annoying thing where she applies Hydra on herself, which lets you get Street Fire 10 hit comboed by Cryo Whopper Flowers and fat Ubi gun guys. So yes, Barbara is one of the worst characters in the game. Moving on to Qiqi. Qiqi sucks endgame, and I'm an endgame player, so she sucks. One of her cons provides some DPS for some reason and reduces enemy attack, which does nothing much honestly. Her first con improves some of her ER issues, but this still doesn't change the fact that her healing doesn't provide much value or utility in the game's current meta. Her damage is subpar, she can't even be used as a battery, and looting her is illegal. Now we have Lisa. She's the first okay character on this list. As a sub DPS, she is okay. Would I recommend building her? Fuck no. People need to stop saying that cons make this character better. She is the worst character at C0, and cons just make her slightly better. Her kit sucks as most content in this game is time trialed, and we need to stand still like a fucking brain sprout for 3 years to get maximum damage for a sub DPS that should be ideally quick swapped. She's not going to be very good. Her ult is okay, and her damage scaling is good, I guess, but she's still not a character I recommend building. Honestly, Anemo MC isn't that bad, it's just that compared to the other characters in the anime element, it makes the MC seem like a very copium character. Their CC sucks because their skill and burst spread the enemies out more most of the time. The damage ceiling also isn't very high, so it's very hard to make this character valuable. Even though I'm a simp, and even though I'm a degen, Rosaria won't be getting any pretty privilege from me. Rosaria is bad. Her elemental skill doesn't do that much damage, and against bigger enemies it drops off even harder in utility, and as a physical DPS which some of her talents gear towards, she is subpar at best. Her ult is the best part of her kit, but even then it's hard to proc reactions with it, as the pulses in between are too long, and I know some of you guys will talk about the crit rate buff, even though if her characters are well built, you won't need it. Kaeya is just better as an overall cryo character. The only thing Rosaria really excels at is getting me hot. Noelle is solid, like a rock. Okay, Noelle does actually provide some really good shielding. The only problem is that all other aspects of her aren't that good. Her healing is unreliable, so no one can run her as a dedicated support. Her ult requires her to be on field for a majority of the time, and even then the damage of her ult, even at C6, is not amazing. Her C4 also seems good until you realize that it scales off her own attack and not defense for some reason, and the team she can be in is limited by the fact that she needs another Geo battery for her high energy cost burst. So she is a mid-main DPS, struggles to work as a sub DPS, and is a below average support. I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this, but Razor doesn't have that much value as a character. He's a really greedy main DPS through and through, who can only be used as a hyper carry. There really is nothing much to say about him though. It's not like he's bad. He does amazing damage at C6. It's just that his comps are very limited and his single target damage is his only impressive aspect. Also, he is physical and electro, which can't be as versatile as any other element. Okay, now here is where I get a lot of shit. I think Xinyan is better. Her ultimate is literally a guaranteed nuke at CT. She can work as a main DPS, sub DPS and a physical support, and is also amazing at breaking cryo shields with the damage over time on her ult. We don't talk about her paper shield though. Xinyan is an all around great character, but her cooldowns are ridiculously long, and she's physical, which is a negative. Also, it's hard to incorporate her into teams. Geo MC is good. He works as a great Geo sub DPS, his scaling is decent and his ultimate staggers and deals consistent damage. There's nothing too much to say about him. He is a solid character who just gets outshown. Chongyun. Please come home. Chongyun is a great cryo character with the second best cryo application in the game. He can be a main DPS or sub DPS and also provides attack speed buff, which is very rare but useful, and also reduces cooldowns, but this blue exorcist is pretty hard to build teams for and only really shines in a few comps. On top of this, without sacrificial greatsword, his cooldowns are something else, let's say. I personally hate Qiqi, but this list is as subjective as possible, so let's get on with her merits. She is the worst sustained 5-star DPS, and she is alright on quickswap teams. Those are the positives. She is Electro, her constellations add basically no value, her skill has auto-lock, physical Qiqi is copium, and she has fake cat ears. But at least the Garn UX Qiqi ship is the best ship in the game. Yanfei is a greedy DPS, and usually I'd put her lower down on this list, but actually at C6 she has the strongest shield in the game for some reason, giving her value as a great shielder with only 5-second downtime on her optimal quickswap team. As a sustained DPS, her damage output is actually amazing and can be paired with Melt or Vaporize to amplify this. The only problem with her is that running her as a shield neuters her damage into the ground, and she's also a very greedy DPS, but regardless of that, Yanfei I think still provides a high value ceiling. Childe, Zhongli Sugar Daddy, has probably the best AoE DPS in the game and has the best Hydra application in the game. The only problem is that he has to be on field to do this. Unlike the Femboy alternative, Childe, even though he has good damage, mostly shines at being an enabler, which is hard to do when he benefits too much from being on field, and even as an on field DPS his damage is not bad, don't get me wrong, but he can only really be amplified by Electrocharge, which isn't the best reaction. Childe is not a bad character by any means, he is just not valuable in Genshin's current game state. Ningguang and Yanfei are basically the same character, but Ningguang is slightly more flexible as she is not as greedy and her scaling is absolutely insane. No argument here, Ningguang is an amazing character, her constellations add a ton of value, just the other characters here are more valuable. Also her Dojin is S tier. Beidou has batshit ridiculous damage. Perfect countering with her skill gives ridiculous numbers and her Q is actually just built different. Some of the characters below this list are shaking right now because if the new ER set was out right now, they would be fucked because one of the two flaws with Beidou is her ER, which the new set will fix, and the other problem is that enemies don't attack sometimes because Genshin coding is amazing. Beidou can work as a main DPS, a sub DPS, or even an Electro support. She is a fantastic character who I highly recommend you build. Nothing much to say about shit, I meant Oz. At C6 he is an amazing damage support and always has 100% uptime with on-field presence. Oz has great scaling, so the fact that he's an electric character doesn't near his DPS. Also his summon official can be a decent physical DPS. Where do I even start with Kaeya? He is fucking amazing and I'm surprised at how slept on he is. He has the best cryo application in the game, his physical DPS is actually really good. His cryo damage can be absolutely insane and he can set up some of the best melt and free setups in the game. The only negative I can see in Kaeya is that he's not a waifu. Yeah, also make sure you like if you're enjoying the video so far, as I had to do a shit ton of research for this video. Also comment if you think I have fucked up yet. For the next 3 characters, they all basically do the same thing, so I don't want to go too into detail. And number 17 is Diluc, number 16 is Qiqi, and number 15 is the cutest character in the game, Xiao. Albedo is basically Oz with more than 100% uptime. Don't question it, I don't understand either. Albedo does good consistent damage and can fit on any team, reaction based or non-reaction based, and he also gives a free EM boost that only has 2 seconds of downtime. Xiao is a DPS character that does really good DPS and even more DPS at higher constellations, but his teams are limited. Next. Eula, the horse character in the game right now, is a DPS that does really good DPS, is just a bit more flexible and can do a nuke. Also bonus points for her NSFW. The astrologist herself that has extremely high value mostly tied to her ultimate, but Mona dominates quickswap teams while also being a great support to hyper carries as she provides a fat damage buff, does fat damage, has a fat ass, and can also CC smaller enemies. She's also amazing on freeze comps. Wow, I'm here to say that Zhang Ning is fucking nuts. Most of her damage just come from one source though, and that is her ultimate. Zhang Ling's ultimate is able to put out such consistently high damage and a massive AoE with low downtime, and the only real gate behind Zhang Ling's amazing potential is Bennett to snapshot her burst. Zhang Ling on the right team outperforms many 5-star DPS characters, and she doesn't even need to be on field for this. Zhang Ling is a must build character in my opinion. Jean, another completely underrated character. Bennett gets praised for being able to do almost anything, but so can Jean to a lesser extent. Jean has ridiculous damage, whether it be on a physical or anime DPS build. She can work as a viridescent support, has great CC at C1, and attack speed buff with 100% uptime at C2, can tread anime resistances at C4, making her a great support for Xiao. She's also blessed with low cooldown and does a crazy amount of healing. Also is one of the fastest ways to break Abyss like the shield. Build a Jean if you have her. I don't need to say much here. Sucrose has amazing CC and makes her damage go brrr, and also can work as a DPS character. Don't ask, just know that main DPS Sucrose is actually really good. Diona is an amazing support that provides healing and shielding and also boosts EM at C6. She works also as an amazing battery character and is every physical DPS's best friend. Diana also benefits from one of the best constellations in the game, her C4, which reduces charge up time. Why the fuck does it do that? Anyways, Diana is an amazing support who just gets outclassed in terms of value by a few more of these characters. Venti, the Fallen King. During launch, Venti was considered to be the best character in the game. How times have changed. Venti is still great. He works on almost all teams, he benefits heavily from the EM buffs, does decent damage, and can boost damage especially at C6. There are just two problems. One, his constellations really don't provide that much value, and number two, the fucking black hole makes it hard to hit enemies when your DPS has a small attack range. Xiao is every pyro character's favorite femboy, an amazing character overall. He can be a pure reaction support and only provide you with reaction setups, or he could build up his damage and run him as a proper sub DPS, because trust me, his skill damage is absolutely insane. Jingqiu also provides the active character with damage mitigation and some healing, which helps with hyper carry teams. And also, speaking of teams, he is one of the most universal characters in the game, with the only potential problem being his skill cooldown, which is already fixed by Sacrificial Sword. Anyways, Jingqiu is a good character, just the other characters above are better. Oh my god, this character at C6 is absolutely nuts. He can be a main DPS or sub DPS or a pure support. He has good CC, can buff the reaction damage of both elements, and has amazing ult. Kazu is basically every anime character in one tightly knit Canadian package, and he went above and beyond everyone's expectations. She does the most damage in the game and is one of the best cryo supports, and she is thick. Yo, real talk, can we stop shitting on C6 Bennett? Hold up, everyone knows Bennett is good because Bennett, but C6 is overhated. He only messes up physical comps and literally a net positive for most quickswap teams, but people aren't ready for that conversation, I guess. Do I need to say anything? Zhongli at C6 provides insane shielding, a free freeze that lasts around 6 seconds, literally heals as well, reduces enemy res, puts out amazing damage, can fit on any you know what, I'm done. Zhongli is the best character in the game. I'm ending the video. Okay, so this was me ranking all Genshin characters in 1.0. I think I did a good job hopefully, as it is really hard to try and rank characters in this game and they all have different roles, so I tried to rank them based on value. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe, and also comment where you think I went wrong. that's it for the video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys on the flip side. Peace.